The following program is rated T for teen for the use of tools and materials that can be harmful to unsupervised usage. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone, Mr. Waugh here from Mr. Waugh Media, and yes, that is my actual name. In today's episode, some simple terrain out of Aquarium accessories. Welcome back to the show, everyone, and today a nice and fast episode. We're going to take some basic aquarium plants and this weird tree stumpy rock kind of thing that the fish can swim through, and we're going to turn them into some pretty awesome looking terrain. Now, normally you would have to go to your pet shop for this kind of stuff, which is affordable there as well, but my local dollar store started carrying this kind of stuff, so guess what? This is actually a dollar store episode. You got hecka bamboozled, Farilla, no cap.
The first thing we're going to start working on is, of course, our base. In this case, it's going to be a smaller piece used for more scattered terrain, so this one happens to clock in maybe 5 inches in length, 3 or 4 in width. Once I've got the shape that I like, I'm going to go around with my handy-dandy blade here. Make sure it's nice and sharp, otherwise when you're cutting it, it can leave little jagged tears here and there. And yeah, just round out like this, get a shape that you're satisfied with, and we'll move on to the next step. From here, I'm going to grab my aquarium plants and start strategically putting them around the base. For each of these, I can probably fit about 2 or 3 of the large ones, and I'll put a smaller one in the middle to help take up some of the real estate. Notice these ones are already very bright, vibrant colors. I'm probably not going to have to paint anything here, because I think overall it looks pretty good as is. It's not going to need any touch-ups. This is what we're looking at so far. Alright, for the next step, we're going to go with some Elmer's clear glue and cover pretty much the entire thing here, including the roots. I don't really like how they look. It's got that cheap plasticky kind of look, so I think the more I can put on here, the better. Once I've got a really good coverage, dip it in the sand, you'll get something like this. Alright, I've given it plenty of time to dry. I did a pretty generous black base coat here. Now I'm going in with some generic brown and dry brushing that over most of the surface. I'd say about 80 to 90%. You can still see a little bit of the black peeking through, but not a whole lot. Once I've given that plenty of time to dry, I'm going in now with 1 part of the brown, 1 part golden yellow, and a little bit of white to make this lighter kind of sandy color. That's going to get dry brushed over most of the surface. Be careful not to get it on any of the plastic plants. If you do, it's pretty easy to wipe off, but less work the better. And so far, this is what we got to work with. And the last painting step, you blink once, you're probably going to miss it. Just add 2 parts white to the mix and do a very light dry brushing over all the surfaces. That's it. Painting's done. We'll go back to our Elmer's clear glue, put it in little generous patches here and there, spread it around. And we're going to go in with our flock, which is a generic color. It's a nice swamp mix. I like it because it doesn't really clash with other colors. It's not overpowering. Wipe off the leftovers there, and voila. This is what our little piece looks like. Quick, easy, and it looks fantastic. Now how about we tackle that larger aquarium piece? Now this one I've given a pretty generous black base coat to. The other color, it was kind of weird. It just really wasn't going to fit the vibe I'm going for. So cover the entire piece in black. Now we're going in with some generic brown and dry brushing about 80% of the surface. Now with this one in particular, it's got kind of 2 layers to it. There's the exposed part of the tree and then the outer bark. I guess that's the best way I can really describe it. And we'll make a distinction between the two as we go into new layers. And for the next one, I've given it plenty of time to dry before jumping in with some olive green color. This one I'm going to use on most of the upper areas of the bark, but as you can see, I'm slowly blending it down into the lower sections as well. Now, of course, I'm going for a more organic and natural kind of look, but if you want to make this into some weird alien terrain, then by all means, use the same technique, maybe just change the colors to purples, oranges, red. It really is dealer's choice. Next up, I'm going to go back to our olive green color and add a little bit of white to the mix. And this is going to get dry brushed over all the other elements that we previously did in the olive color. Remember not to go into the grain, but lightly over top of it. That way you'd still show a little bit of the work from before without overpowering it. And even at just this stage, that's already looking pretty cool. Next up, we'll take 1 part brown and 1 part white to make a very light color here and dry brush it on all the exposed areas. It's a very, very light dry brushing on these pieces. And honestly, we can just jump right into the next step from here. We're just adding 2 parts white to our mix, and we're going right back in there, dry brushing very lightly. What's my motto, ladies and gentlemen? The lighter the color, the lighter your brush strokes. At this point, there's hardly anything in my bristles, and I'm just lightly dusting this thing. We'll finish up here. We'll get the last few pieces, and we can jump finally into the last step for this particular area. In this case, it is just pure white, and we're going to lightly, super lightly dust these to make it all really pop out. Next, we're going to go and take our pure white and add a tiny little drop of olive green to it. And this is going to get lightly dusted over the entire piece. This is going to help tie the whole thing together. It makes it a very unified color. And voila! This is what our final piece looks like. It's a super quick and easy process. I think this only took me maybe 10 minutes as I figured out the recipe. Once I got going, I finished the second one as well. These look really cool. It's organic, but it still has an alien vibe to it, right? Once you mix that with the plants, it is a very alien world. I hope you guys liked it. It's a nice quick tutorial. I'll catch you on the next one. Well, that has been today's episode. I really hope you guys liked it and maybe found some useful information in there. If you did, make sure that you hit the like, the share, and subscribe button down below, and please pass this around to all your friends. We're really trying to build the channel from the ground up. If there's anything that you want me to build in an upcoming episode, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe we'll be able to build it for you in the future. On that note, I've been Mr. Waugh from Mr. Waugh Media, signing off.